Number one, the first one. Order of operations, what do we do first? Special operations. So what's the special operation? Here's the exponent. So it belongs to this parenthesis. Got 36 and so -3 squared becomes a what? Because what this means, since the -3 is inside parenthesis and the 2 is on top of the parenthesis, that means it's the parenthesis that's doubled. So negative times negative is a positive. So that takes care of the parentheses also. So it becomes +9. Okay, so that's our first step. Yeah, be very careful. If it's inside the parentheses, the whole thing is exponentiated. What's next? Okay, we could fix this sign here. You have two signs next to each other we can't have. So that becomes a what? Is a +2. No more special operations. So multiplication division. Is there a multiplication division? Yes. This is the same thing as 36 divided by 9. That's what that looks like. Is this going to be positive or negative? Negative. 36 divided by 9? 4. 36 divided by 9 equals 4. The way you can prove it is if you take these and multiply them, does it equal 36? So it's -4 plus 2. Is the answer positive or negative? Negative what? If the signs are different, you subtract the numbers. You have the sign right. That's the hardest part. -2. Remember, the rule says this: if the signs are different, take the sign of the larger and subtract the numbers. The signs are the same, take the common sign and add the numbers. That's the first one there. Number 2. It's 4 squared 15 plus divided by -3. Remember, when you have fractions, you can treat them both separately. Do the top over here. And do the bottom over here. Treat them as two smaller equations. The bottom. On the top, what do we do first? You have to do it inside the parentheses. So we have to read left, right. We do 5 squared first. What is 5 squared? Do 5. Repeat the process. Read left, right. Here's a parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, what do we do? It's a squared. Square root is that. It's 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Again, read left to right. Here's a special operation. We got to do that. 25 minus 16. Do we need the parenthesis anymore? No, there's no sign or anything there. So we just drop the parenthesis. 3 minus 9. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Because 9 is bigger. Its answer is negative. Negative what? 6. You're not dividing, you're subtracting. This is a positive, that's a negative. So you subtract the numbers. 9 minus 3 is 6. So the top number is negative 6. That's the top number. Negative 6. Now what do you do down here? Now you can't do anything inside the parenthesis. So we divide 24 by negative 2. Is this going to be positive or negative? There's a couple ways you can look at this. This positive belongs to the top number. So it's positive 24 divided by negative 2. Remember, if you're multiplying or dividing, if you have an odd number of negatives, the answer is negative. So the answer is going to be negative. You have different signs. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. Or 24 divided by 2 is 12. It's 3, isn't it? So 24 divided by 3 is 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. And that's the bottom number. It's positive because 14 is bigger than 8. Remember, if you have different signs, this one's positive, this one's negative. If you have different signs, take the sign of the larger. Okay, division and multiplication are its own set of rules. Is this division or multiplication or subtraction or addition? It's subtraction. So addition, subtraction goes by the rules. If the signs are different, take the sign of the larger and then subtract them. You're right, right. It sounds, they look almost identical on the paper, but the rules are pretty different. So it's negative 6. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? 6 divided by 6? 1. There's that one. All right, number 3. Oh, divided by 2 minus 5 plus 12 times negative 1 or 2 to the third minus negative 4 squared. That you all finish these. Bless you. So again, let's do the top and bottom separately. This 12 divided by 2 minus 5 plus 12 times negative 1 minus 2 to the third minus negative 4 to the power 2. On the top, what do we do first? Inside the parentheses. So we'll do 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5 equals what? 3. 5 is bigger, it's negative. 5 minus 2 is 3. Plus 12 minus 1. Can we do anything else inside the parentheses? No, so we have, what do we do next? We have to do division first. Left to right, we do the division first. So it's 12 divided by -3. Is this going to be positive or negative? Negative. 12 divided by 3 is? Plus 12. Now what do we do? This multiplication. What's positive times negative makes it a. Or signs are different. If you're multiplying them and the signs are different, it's a negative. 12 times 1. Now what do we do? Is the answer to be positive or negative? Mine it'd be negative. Because they're both negative. Since they're both negative, what do we do with the numbers? Add them. 12 plus 4 is 16. So that's the top number. The top number is -16. Bottom, what do we do first there? Any special operations? Yeah, there's an exponent right there. What is 2 to the power 3? 2 to the power 3 is 2 times 2 times 2. Exponent tells me how many times you multiply the base. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Yeah, I'll send them to you. Remind me. Okay, now we do the next exponent. We do this one. What is -4 squared? Positive 16. So it's 8 minus positive 16. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Negative, because 16 is bigger, it's minus. 16 minus 8 is 8, -8. The two negatives, they cancel each other out. So we have 16 divided by 8, which is what? 2. Yeah, 2 goes in, 8 goes into 8 once, 8 goes into 16 twice. So it's 2 over 1, which is 2. That's your final answer. Page back. Good. Okay. Okay, so let's pick up where we left off last time. Okay, let's look at find adding or subtracting. If the signs the same. Then take the common sign and add the numbers. The examples of these remember, always do your signs and your numbers separately. Is this an addition or a multiplication? Addition, because there's no parentheses or anything, and there's a plus sign there. So they're both positive. So the answer is going to be what? Answer is going to be positive. Add the numbers. 9 plus 2 is 11. It's positive 11. Same thing here. They're both positive. The answer is positive. 3 plus 8 is 11. I did this because it doesn't matter how they're arranged. The smaller number first or the bigger number first. Here, they're both negative. So the answer is going to be what? Negative. Add the numbers. They're both negative, so the answer is negative. Add the numbers. 5 plus 4 is 9. So this is the addition. Next tab. If the signs are different, signs are different. And take the sign of the larger number and subtract numbers. So if the signs are different, then take the sign of the larger number and subtract the numbers. Nine minus 3. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Why? Because 9's bigger and it's positive. So its answer is positive. 9 minus 3 is 6. Negative 9 plus 3 is negative because 9 is bigger than 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. -2 + 5. Answer going to be positive or negative? 2 + 5 is -5. 2 - 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 5 is -5. Positive, because 5 is bigger than 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Because operations are different. In this first one, we add them because the signs are the same. In the bottom one, since the signs are different, we have to subtract. They're going opposite directions on the number line. So the second one is a positive or negative. Yeah, because 5 is bigger than 2. It's negative. The answer is negative. 5 minus 2 is 3. Now, if you look at the whole thing on a number line, -8, -2. So the first one says I go to the left -8 spaces. Then I keep on going left 2 more spaces. So negative says go left. Positive means go right. 9 plus 2. I start at 0. I go over to 9 and 2 more. If the signs are different, so I start at 0. I go 9 to the right. And then I go back 3. 1, 2, 3. This one. I start at 0. I go to the left 2 spaces. Then I go to the right 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're not comfortable, yes. If you're not comfortable with it, by all means, use a number line. Because if there's a negative, I say this one, I go from 0, I go 2 to the left. What would I do? How many spaces? Go to the left, 9 spaces. Then I go to the right, 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So that's -8, -7, -6. It makes it easier. -8 plus -2. Good question. You can't have 2 signs next to each other. So positive and negative becomes a what? Negative. If the signs are different, it's negative. So since they're both negative, the answer is what? Negative. Since their signs are the same, you add them. They're both going to the left. So that's adding and subtracting. Multiplying and dividing. In multiplication. This is the same rule in both multiplication and division. And division. If you have an even number, negative signs, then your answer is positive. In this example, -3 times 2 times -1, is the answer going to be positive or negative? Since we have two of them, is 2 odd or even? It's even. Since we have an even number of negatives, the answer is positive. 3 times 2 is 6 times 1 is 6. This one, is the answer going to be positive or negative? Yeah, it's going to be negative because we have 1, 2, 3 negative signs and 3's odd. So now we don't have to worry about the signs. Now we just cancel out stuff. 4 and 4 cancel. That's it. So 2 times 3 is 6 over 5. If you have a number negative signs, then your answer is negative. That's all you have to worry about when you're in multiplying and dividing. Now, the problem occurs when we have pluses and minuses and multiplication divisions. Can you determine if this one's going to be positive or negative? Off the bat, no, because we have so many equations we have to worry about. In the numerator, the top number, there's an addition. On the bottom, there's a subtraction. So we can't use those if you have equations that are mixed up, plus, minus, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, you have to do it step by step. Do them all as you go along. Let's work this one out. What's that? Separate the equation, yes. -2 is 5. Bottom. On the top, what do we do first? Inside the parentheses. We can't do anything in the first parentheses since there's no equation. It's just -2. So we go to the next parenthesis. 3 minus 5, is that positive or negative? Why? Because 5 is bigger than 3. The signs are different. Since the signs are different, what do we do with the numbers? Subtract them. Since the signs are different, you subtract them. 5 minus 3 is 2. Repeat the process. Here's a special operation. We'll do inside the parenthesis. -2 times -2. Inside this parenthesis, I have 5 minus 7. 7's bigger than 5. The answer is negative. 7 minus 5 is 2. The answer is -2 inside there. Now what do we do? Well, these are all multiplications. So we have this first one. Negative times negative is what? Positive. 2 times 2. Now we have another multiplication. Positive times negative. What does that become? Signs are different. It becomes negative. 4 minus 2 is 2. So that's our top number. Inside the parenthesis, is the answer going to be positive or negative? Yeah, they're both positive, so the answer is positive. 7 plus 3 is 10. Since I can't do anything inside the parentheses, do I need the parentheses? No. 6 minus 10, answer be positive or negative? Negative because 10 is bigger. So 10 minus 6 is 4. The bottom number is -4. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Since we only have one negative sign, the answer is negative. Now simplify. What's our answer going to become? 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 twice. So the answer is -1/2. I could do it. I can write the answer either way. Either put the negative in front or put it with the top number, never with the bottom number. It is negative. The final answer is negative. Yes, but that's as I said, do the signs and the numbers differently. Do them separately. You have a positive divided by a negative. Is the answer going to be positive or negative? Negative, because there's an odd number of negatives, only one negative. So that takes care of the sign. 2 divided by 4 is 1/2. They're two separate parts. This is a sign, this is the answer. And that negative sign can either be put in front or it never goes on the bottom number. Does that clear up the question a little bit? It just takes practice from here on out. All right. Work it out. Eight. Just wrote it the first time. I put a 2 there originally. Let's look this one. So what do you do first in this one? Exponents. You can't do anything inside the parentheses, so you do the exponents. What that means is negative 1/3 squared means negative 1/3 times negative 1/3. It's a positive. Nothing cancels top and bottom, so you multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 3 is 9. So that number becomes 1/9. Another way you could have done it is, since it's out here, you could just distribute it to both top and bottom. So negative 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1 over 3 squared is 9. Now with these two, first off, we have different signs. We have negative and a positive. What does it become? Since they're multiplied, it becomes a negative. So worry about the signs. Get that out of the way. It's going to be negative. Now, the rule of multiplication is before you multiply, always reduce. Can anything on top cancel with anything on the bottom? The 4. So what we have left is 1/9. 1/9 minus 1/9 equals 0. All that worked for nothing. You're following along? Made a mistake there. You see where you made the mistake? All right, let's.
I forgot about that part. It's just that all I did was multiply straight across.
Yeah. Two people missed. Exactly. That's all you have to do here. So wherever you see a K, you put a 4. M is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. Number 19. Anywhere else, anywhere I see a P, I put a 6 in its place. Where I see a Q, I put a -7 in its place. So no special operations. So 2 times 6 is exactly. 12 plus 7 is positive 19. Here's the last one. Might as well go off with a bang. Go off with a bang. Okay, here's the last one. So what does A become? What does Y become? And M, so treat the top and bottom separately. 5 times 1 minus 7 times 4. 2 plus -3. 5 times 1 is 7 times 4. 28. So is the answer be positive or negative? 28 minus 5. 23. So the top is -23. Bottom, you can't do anything in parentheses, so what do we do next? Signs. Positive and negative becomes a answer. 2 minus 3 is positive or negative? Negative, because 3 is bigger than 2, it's negative. 3 minus 2 is Negatives cancel each other. 23 divided by 1 is 23.